Hey, welcome back to Black Lake Garage. Today we're doing some little people's car. I don't just fix big people's cars; I fix little people's cars too. I like to do that because that gets kids interested. It'll start off with these, but then later they get interested in fixing actual cars. I think all kids should start off with a go-kart. So this one, of course, I painted it and everything. And this is a Predator motor. We've got to do some upgrades to this thing. We're going to swap the carbon stuff out, and we're going to put a torque converter on it. So, you ready? Come on, let's get into it. So first thing we need to do is take this air box lid off. It just pops off. Take the air filter loose. Go ahead, take your vent hose loose off the gas tank. Now then, make sure the gas is turned off. You got two 10mm nuts down here. Take them loose. Pull back on this air box. Just let this vent hose come with it. Now you've got this hose here that comes off the valve cover, connects in here. Just leave it on there for now. Let's go ahead and pull this gasket off. And we need something to cut the gas off with. I got a pair of these. I'm not sure what they're called. I know somebody using hospitals. And there's some people like to smoke left-handed cigarettes with them. But you can see mine. They ain't burn on the end. Ain't been no left-handed smoke with mine. Alright. Take this clamp loose. And pull the fuel line up off of it. Let me get you in a little closer here. Alright, I got you in closer here so you can see it's not the fuel line, but the linkage. Just take this spring and just unhook it. And then slide the carburetor out just a little bit. Because that rod usually fits down there, and just hold it at an idle. And then the rod will just pull straight up out of there. Because you can see if it's opened up, it'll lock that rod in. Well, here, I'll show you. And see if it's further back, it's opened up. You can't pull it out. So slide it out this way and hold it at an idle. It'll pick straight up out of there. Once you've done that, just slide your carburetor off. And I'll take the old gasket off. Now that you have your old carburetor off, what do you do with it? That is junk. Problem is there's no adjustment on it. Or instead of throwing it in the weeds, you can throw it at your neighbor. Throw it at your ex-wife or girlfriend. Whatever you want to do with it. Point being, keep it off your go-kart. Now, your new one comes with the extra jet. All you got to do... Now, do you have to install it? No. It just gives it a little bit more fuel. Just take that out. And the bowl comes right off. Now you can see your jet up in there. There we go. There's the factory jets. Now I selected the biggest one in the kit. Now drop that jet back in, and then drop that one in, tighten it back up. And then put your bowl back on. That's all they are to the jet change. Now your kit will come with an extra piece like that right there. There's absolutely no difference in them, so I don't see a reason to use that one. And you can swap them out if you want to, but I'm telling you, in my kit that I got anyway, they're identical, so I see no reason to swap them. Just like the kit will come with extra studs. The studs in the kit are identical to the studs that's in the motor. So why swap them? I mean, if you damage one or bend it or something, yeah, but in general, there's no need to. Slide your gasket on. Slide the carburetor on. Now, before we get too far, remember we got to hook this governor rod or throttle rod back up. So hold it out of idle. Move the fuel line a little bit out of the way. And as you go in with it, remember, drop a rod down in there. And hook the spring back up. And slide the fuel line back on. Slide the clamp down. I don't know what that is the neighbor has running. It must be an International Harvester or a Dodge or something. It don't sound smooth like a Ford. Anyway. Well, it was even worse. It was a Chevrolet. That's why it was straining so hard. Okay, now that we got that done, get your gasket. And make sure that notch is open to that hole right there. Slide it on there. Now you'll have this piece here, it comes in the kit. I'll go ahead and tell you, this little arm will be in there, and there's a slot in it. Go ahead and put that Phillips screw in it. You'll see why right here in a second. Take your choke lever, slide it on there, and make sure that little pin goes actually into the choke. Push it down. Now, remember that? You slide this onto your two studs, and this is what helps keep your choke lever on there. Because remember, used to you had the air box to hold it on. Well, now you don't have that, so you gotta have this little lever. Once that's on there, start your two 10mm nuts. Now then, you got your vent off the valve cover. You have your little breather that comes in the kit. What I do is put a zip tie up here, because I've seen these things hanging down here and hanging every which way. I like to have it straight up and down. Let me put a little clamp on there. before I do that. Now let's take our air filter, which make sure you ain't got no dirt in there or anything. Just slide the air filter on. Tighten the hose clamp down. That's it. Just make sure your choke lever works. Make sure your fuel turns off and on. So all we got left to do is hook the vent hose up. Now on your vent hose for the fuel tank, I just get an old weed eater fuel filter, put it one end of the line, and then push the other line on up here, and then I need to put it somewhere where it won't interfere with the throttle. So we'll run it up here. You can zip tie it or something if you want to, but just the main thing is keep it away from the muffler. And that's all they are to upgrading your carburetor. Now let's put a torque converter on it. Well, the first thing we need to do is take this master link out. There we go. Let's take the Allen screws loose on this clutch. We won't talk about what happened to this clutch. That wasn't very nice. All we'll say is that somebody was riding it and it quit working. Like burn up. We won't say who that person was that was riding it that, well, really probably too big for it, but you know. But actually, come to find out, this model of Yerf Dog originally had a torque converter on it. See, there was nothing on this thing when I got it, so I had no way of knowing. I mean, it ran all right with this big sprocket and stuff on it. But it'll be better with this torque converter. And hopefully we don't have to change sprockets. Now, Mosquito, you're going to have to go on. I really don't feel like getting malaria this week. I'm surprised that slid off that easy. But it did. Alright. Now let's dig into our box of goodies here. Let's see, first of all, if this thing will even clear. I actually finagled it around there and got it to line up. Now we just put these 4 bolts in, tighten them up. Now then, I know I'll have to change the sprocket on this one. So they've got the sprocket on there for a number 40 chain, which the extra sprocket comes with the kit. Simply slide that one off, and here's one for number 35 chain, because that's what we're running. And I won't move this shim, because it looks to me like I need to remove it to make this line up with the sprocket down here. That's the way it looked to me anyway. Now let's check it again. Looks pretty good. Let me do this. We'll get a chain and lay on it. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, we know that'll work. So, I'm going to slide this shim back on, because I'm guessing it has to have it. Slide the spacer on. Now I'll put this shim on there. I don't know, I don't think I'll need that shim. I'm going to try it without it first. Let's see, turn the skinny side out. I'll make sure that bushing's on there. Now this may be kind of hard to see, but if you look at the belt, you'll notice the belt's not the same. This side is beveled, and this side is flat. Well, naturally you want the flat side of the belt against the flat side of the pulleys. You know, kind of makes sense. Ouch! That was my finger. All right. Alright, let me go get an impact and we'll crank this thing down. That, the lock washer. I'll do the rest of it by hand, I guess. I can't get the impact in there. Now let's check our chain. See if we need a longer one, shorter one, or what we need. It might. It'll go with the one behind it. Let's go shorten this chain up. And always make sure that you turn the rounded end of your master link to the direction that it's turning. You'd be surprised how many of them I see put on backwards. That just makes it harder for it to come loose when you turn it the right way. Alright, got the gas on, got the choke on. I think I got the ignition switch on, so let's see. Well, there ain't but one way to find out if it works. Let's see how it does from a dead stop. Well, I'd say that's pretty successful. Like I said 1,000 times, plenty fast enough for a 9-year-old. So, appreciate y'all watching. Be sure and hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Me and the pups will be back with another one. See you.